Hey guys, I just want to do my reaction review to Black Lightning, Season 2, Episode 11, Prodigal Son. So after Khalil's been hospitalized, he's asking Jefferson to basically kill Tobias. Even though Khalil's offering to provide intel, Jefferson says he has to let the justice system deal with Tobias. And Khalil bitterly reminds him how the justice system has failed thus far to prosecute and convict Tobias for any of his crimes, including paralyzing Khalil and also murdering Jefferson's father. And then he decides that although he's not going to kill Tobias, Jefferson realizes that he really needs to double down his efforts of taking down Tobias once and for all, especially when he hears that Reverend Holt had died of a heart attack. Jefferson suspects foul play since he knows Tobias was after Holt's clinic and wanted to buy it out for the longest time. And Henderson says it's like if they're going to work together, they need to gather evidence of him being responsible for more than one murder. That they have to expose the entire operation. And of course, it turns out it was foul play because when he's leading a congregation, Reverend Holt was like wiping his hand with a handkerchief that I guess was handed off to him by a patron who was attending the service. It had like a pink liquid on it. It looks implying that it was poison. It turns out it was Cutter, who was finishing what Tobias tried to get Khalil to start, which is assassinate Reverend Holt. And so Jefferson decides to let him in on his usual operations by telling him Gamby was still alive and also that the underground little hideout they have, and how Gamby discovered proof that Reverend Holt was poisoned, and what Jeff was trying to say is like, now we know this is foul play, and he decides to work with them, and he ends up going to, and I guess like Jefferson somehow knows where Tobias lives, and I don't know, maybe Khalil told him off screen, but he basically goes to his Tobias's penthouse, Officer Henderson, wearing like a hidden camera in his tie to film the entire penthouse, and not only able to film the penthouse, but also do like a scan of any hidden compartments, which Gamby finds out was like a hidden safe, trying to figure out if that's where he's keeping the ASA briefcase. It turns out he's not, and Jefferson figures it's like Tobias was smarter than this. And speaking of which, the briefcase, Todd is watching footage of Dr. Jason Lynn trying to revive the Greenlight babies and half of them being killed because of Dr. Jason's manipulations. And it turns out Tobias has a history with Dr. Jace because she was the one who developed the anti-aging serum that she used on both herself and Tobias. And so he decides that she's the one that would know where the location of the 4 pots where it's like the super Greenlight babies are. And so he sends Todd, and it was kind of weird. They didn't really establish how tech savvy Todd actually was. And all of a sudden he's able to not only have this like pen-like device that disables the ankle monitor that's like embedded under Dr. Jace's skin, but also create like a hologram of her to make it look like she's still in her cell and not being like and Todd's not helping her escape. And basically Dr. Jace is able to help her find the location of the 4 pods with the super Greenlight babies, and basically just have his, telling Tobias that if he wakes them up, he can have his own personal army to strengthen his empire and his influence, his power over Freeland. And then there was another subplot with Jennifer in which she was, crying by an SUV. A white woman came up to her and just based on coming up on real life events, starting calling the cops on her, saying that, this black woman tried to break into my car. And Jennifer, being so pissed about it, when the white woman has her back to Jen, is ballsy enough to use her powers to blow up the car, using her powers and just make it look like, oh no, he just got struck by a random bolt of lightning and that she wasn't responsible for it. But I guess she's going to have those like electrical flares surrounding her body, and Jefferson tries to absorb it, but it's too much. So they had to call the woman who's been training Jennifer and like going into her mind, teach her how to like be Zen-like and control her powers. Gave her some meditation techniques to help her like absorb like the electrical flare energy back into her body. And she's the one who suggests to Lynn that, hey, why don't we just put Khalil in a pod until you find a more permanent solution to keep him in order to save him. The doctors refuse to let Lynn do any experimental ASA procedures because I guess they learned like what happened with the other green light babies with her and Dr. Jace. She gets Khalil's mom's permission to do so and threatens legal actions if any of the doctors at the hospital try to stop it. And inexplicably, we have I guess like Jennifer's able to bring Khalil into his mind and make it look like they're going to prom together, and basically to say her goodbye since there's no way to save him because like apparently whatever toxins in his system was working in conjunction with the Tobias' spinal implant is like preventing them from using any of their drugs to sedate him and put him in a pod. So she's able to do that, but it's not. But the thing is that Parenda's not even there, so I'm not sure like how they were able to do. She was able to do that on her own, besides just plot convenience, which was probably the only like really negative thing I had about the episode, and that and besides like a subplot with I guess like Jennifer and her on again off again girlfriend Grace, who I guess we never really explained like her being a green light baby, and they never really touched on that, so nothing really came of that storyline. But yeah, she was able to. It was through that little, I guess, like trip into Janet's mind that she was able to say her final goodbyes to Khalil before he flatlined. And between, and it looks, and this is, I mean, going back to the. I mean, it is kind of tragic, looking back on everything Khalil's been through since the beginning of the series about how he's an aspiring, like, athlete with a scholarship and a bright future, and then is going all the hell after being paralyzed by Tobias, and things only getting progressively worse from there. And he's probably been through more. He's probably been through more hell on this show in present day than any of the other characters, arguably. But I think it's supposed to like strengthen the cast resolve to finally take down Tobias in order to get justice for Khalil. And this is something, and the whole thing with the whole ASA stuff and that suitcase with Tobias, that was something I was waiting for the series to build up on. And I feel like it took longer than it should have to get there just because of all these other subplots they were dealing with that kind of just like came and went in a blink of an eye. But I'm glad they're finally getting to it now, better late than never. And it looks like the show is shaping up to build a strong conclusion after what was a very slow first half of the season. So what do you guys think of the episode? What are your predictions for the next couple of episodes? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.